Hey guys, I am live. Oops. Can you hear me? Hey, I'm live now. We are going to talk men's and women's hoops. Let's start with the men. The men come up big against Northwestern yesterday in a must-win situation for them. And so now the men's record now is standing at 18-12 and 10-9 and the Big Ten. They have a chance to sneak into the top four seed. I think before this morning they had a chance to earn a number three seed, but I believe that that's over right now. As it sounds like Nebraska is whooping up on Rutgers, and so I don't think we can get any higher than a fourth if the score continues to stand. Okay, so the guys are won like four out of their last five games. The talk that had them dead a few weeks ago, not getting to a tournament, is now heating up. I believe now they're not. They've worked their all the way up to the first four out or the last four out. What is that? Is that how it goes? The first four out. The first four out, and their number two on that line was Seton Hall. Ahead of them, a team that Iowa beat. So I would think that they would that Iowa should jump Seton Hall, but I don't do that kind of stuff. But so this Illinois game is coming up is really really important for Iowa and their NCAA chances. But excuse me, I think honestly, I know they want to make the NCAA, and that's the ultimate goal. But I think this team could do some damage in the NIT and play a few more games, get these younger guys more games. Because right now, I believe the experts are all saying even if Iowa gets in, it's the play-in game in Dayton. And I believe yeah, we did win one. We did win a play-in game a long time ago. Um, and so that's going to hurt Iowa in the long run because then they're going to be like a 10 seed or a 12 seed. Then they're going to be popped into like probably against somebody in the top four seed right away for their second game. Okay. But however, this team has really shown some. I think Peyton Sanford. Okay, I get it. I get it. I wasn't been saying that right. Is really becoming a leader. You can see that he's more vocal on the floor. He comes down the floor clapping his hands, trying to get these guys fired up. He looks so serious though. He doesn't look like he's having any fun playing the game, except that one game when I think it was against Penn State when his brother hit that three. Then they kind of chest bumped each other. Um. So anyway, we beat Nebraska. It's their first loss at home this year. They were missing to start the game two starters, and then their center got hurt and limped off the court and went off in the locker room, never to be seen again during that game. So that hurt too. Did anybody else think that center? I can't think of his name. Do you guys think he looks like a full grown man rather than a college student? Like, did we get him from overseas somewhere and he's actually been out of college for years? Yeah, that's what he looks like to me. Okay. Cricky is starting to play a little better again after having some rough times. And so he had like 12 points, 3 rebounds, and I still expect more rebounds from Cricky. If you're gonna play underneath the basket like he does, he needs to get over there, okay? But he had two steals, an assist also, two blocked shots, and so that's not too bad. Okay, Freeman's still having foul issues. All right, we know that. They're just going to have to play through that because he's a freshman. He's still learning, and hopefully he will learn what he needs to do eventually. Okay, so he had 9 points, 6 rebounds, one assist, one steal, and a turnover. No blocked shots, and I think that's partly some of the reason why Freeman becomes a a foul magnet because I believe truly that he's trying to block a lot of shots, and he's getting over the back calls or going through the front, trying to knock swat the ball away. That was easy for him to do in high school because there was nobody his caliber or his size. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Dix, as we guys all know, has been really coming on strong. His third game in a row with 20 plus points. He gets 24 points. He gets 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Now, I'd like to see him get a couple more assists a game because 3 assists coming out of that position, he should have more. But he did have a block shot and 1 turnover. And so that's good news there. And yeah, okay. Perkins, okay. The knock on him is, I guess, in the loss to Illinois, is that he might have turned the ball over, but I have proof here he only turned it over 2 times, 2 times, but it must have been in the most crucial situation. Okay, all right. Oh no, this is 2 times. I'm sorry, this was 2 times against Northwestern. I don't know how many he turned it over against Illinois. That game when they had that game with the lead. Okay, and Peyton Stafford. Oh yeah, Perkins had 14 rebounds though. No assists, 1 steal, and 1 block, and 2 turnovers. Peyton Sanford had 23 points, 3 assists, 6 steals. I didn't realize his hands were that active, and he also had a turnover in that game. Yeah. The only other person worth mentioning, because the other guys that came off the bench didn't do anything, was PMAC. 5 points. He had 5 points and 2 assists, and he did nothing else. Had no rebounds, no steals, no blocks, no turnovers. Okay, so Iowa's won 4 last 5, like I've said. This is like out of 9 out of the last 10 season, Iowa's won 10 plus Big Ten games, and I believe they finished in the upper half every year. If I remember my right, am I right? They are now credited with 4 quad wins, so Minnesota apparently is still a quad one win. Okay. So we didn't even think this was possible that these guys could actually be on the verge of getting into the tournament. 18 wins, guys. I had predicted 14 at the beginning of the season. I was prepared at the beginning of the season for an up and down season. I thought we go in and look like gangbusters against some teams, and other teams we wouldn't look so good. And honestly, except for the Purdue game, I think Iowa's pretty much held their own against everybody they played, even the losses, because they gave up a lot of leads that they had late in the game. And so, this is exciting again. People are getting exciting for the men again, and granted, I did not watch the game live. I was at a soccer tournament yesterday, but I did come home and watch it on the replay. So I thought we looked pretty solid in that game. Every time they made a run at us, we made a run back. And I thought that was perfect because earlier in the season, when teams were making runs at us, we did not stop the runs. We gave into them and found ourselves on the bottom looking up after that. Yeah. So honestly, that's where the men are at. They've got Illinois coming up a week from today. That will decide, what seed that they get, and we'll know more as things shake out. There are some teams that still have 2 games to play this week. One team has 3 games. And it's funny to think that Iowa is going to be off all week and not play any games. Okay, let's just talk about right now some of the questions that you guys are already bringing up before we move on. So, okay, South Bend says, I just wish T Perk would not put a dribbling show near the end of the games and cough up the ball in critical possessions 3 times under 5 minutes against Illinois. Yeah, I figured out what he was doing, why he was doing that, because I think they were originally either playing with the lead and then they lost the lead, but they were still close enough that they could win. I think what he was trying to do was trying to slow the game down and burn some clock to look for a good shot rather than, Perkins' game is, as everybody knows, they've seen it, is he needs to he needs to dribble into the paint and go up with his ball. He's not gonna score 100% when he does that. What's gonna happen is he's gonna draw some fouls. I needed to look. Did I put that down there? How many fouls he drew? No, I didn't. They keep a record on how many fouls that you draw. Um, so I'll have to look that back up. But he draws a lot of fouls, and then he's pretty solid at the free throw line. So I would still keep Perkins in, even though he got a little dribble happy. And I agree with you. Late in the games is not the time to get dribble happy. You got to keep that ball passing around and keep it going. And Kelvin, pair of 14 assists. Perkins, I believe I said that's what he had, right? Yeah, he had 14 assists. Yep. That's pretty good. That's pretty solid. I mean, he may not be scoring on his own, but he's helping his teammates score. He's finding them where he needs to. Okay. Yeah. Um, I had to go to church this morning, and South Bend told me to say a prayer for the men's team, so we did. Okay, moving on. I have to pre-read these sometimes. All right. With Iowa down 78-75 against Illinois with 5:23 left, he coughed it up and led and that led to a 6 points for Illinois. We never got closer than 6 the rest of the way. Okay. Kelvin says I said rebounds. Let me go back and look at my sheet, see what I screwed up on. You're right. I said rebound. He had only 3 rebounds in that game, but he's not supposed to be a rebounder. Assist man, yes. And so I stand corrected. He had 14 assists. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the game today with the women. The women beat number 2 Ohio State. Yes. They secure the number 2 seed. So I think somebody told me wrong on how I still not clear on how they determine on tie teams who gets the better seed and who doesn't. And so um because the way that people told me in a thread that I was reading the other day when I asked how it was determined Iowa would not have gotten a 2 seed out of today's game the way they were describing it. The best Iowa could have done was the 3 seed. So I got to guess that it's still point differential in head-to-head matchups. It has to be, you know. And we did own the point differential over Indiana. Okay, so today Gabby was the glue. Gabby. Gabby did play pretty well. She's been playing pretty well. We should call her March Gabby or February, late February, March Gabby, because last year she came and she went on a run. On a run. Somebody had a nickname for her today. It had something to do with March Madness for Gabby. Um, Iowa beat US. Ohio State, Indiana didn't, but we also lost to Ohio State. And I don't believe we did win Ohio State by more than they beat us by. They beat us by 9. We beat them by 10. So maybe there's something to that. I'm not sure. I wish I would somebody smarter than me would figure out how that works on that thing. But let's just talk about the senior day. Okay. First of all, let's talk about Molly's knee injury. And I had to love it when they were carrying her off the floor. We knew it was bad when they were carrying her off the way they were. The whole crowd is chanting, "Molly D, Molly D, Molly D." That had to make her feel good. That had to give her some sense of, you know, these fans really do like me. And, and her parents, I'm sure, felt really good today, too. I believe she had her parent and a brother there to do that. Her dad pushed her in. Um, so anyhow, so we're gonna miss Molly. she's actually one of my favorite player. I like the way she's spunky. She's a little firecracker. She gets things going sometimes when things start to slow down, and she moves without the ball so much. I'm surprised they can even find her sometimes because she's constantly moving. And so, and the one thing too I wanted to talk about Ohio State. You guys feel like a little bit like they were a little dirty in their play? I know they were really super physical, and it showed a couple times today, and got a tee because of it. Got teed up twice because of it. But the other thing I was looking at was when Molly got hurt, guys. You guys remember she stole the ball. She stole up. She jumped up to get it, and while she was still in the air, I thought there was a Ohio State player behind her pushing her down, going, but it happened so fast. It happened instantaneously with the fall and the catch because it all happened instantaneously. And but I might be the only person who saw it because none of the players complained. The coaches didn't complain. The announcers didn't even mention it. Okay, but they're probably so focused on her fall that they didn't see what caused it. I happen to think that it was caused by the Ohio State player. And I'm going to go back and check that replay when I get a minute. I'm going to rewind that to that point and find out if that's actually the case. 'Cause I think it was. Okay. All right. So yeah, I think they were pretty brutal, physical, and a little dirty play there. Um. But I will say that their two players that they've got, their two superstars, are really good. They're really, really nice pieces, and that the other girls just kind of complement them and fill in, much like we have Caitlin. And we don't really have a second extra star unless you want to call Hannah our second star on the team, our superstar. And but I like our complimentary pieces better than I like Ohio State's complimentary pieces. It was just kind of sad today to watch the girls one by one go up there and talk, and then they get introduced that they're leaving and realizing that after they have their end of their tournament run, that they're not coming back after the end of their tournament run, however far they go. And it's gonna be sad because, like I said in my Facebook post this morning, with Caitlin, Kate, and Gabby, those three have been together for 4 years. They played together as starters for 4 years, and there are two main cohorts left last year that were with them for 3 years as starters. And so, because they had that up until last year, they had the three same starters for three consecutive years. And this is gonna be it's gonna be hard to watch a different team out there. I mean, I know we got a Falter, we got um Taylor coming in, we've got not coming in, but already here that she could fire the two. I really expected to see more of her today because of her sharpshooting skills with Molly out of the lineup today, but that didn't happen. We saw her for about I think she played about 8 or 9 minutes total. I'll have to go back and look that up, but he didn't play as much as I thought she should. And so, okay, South Bend, is that for the men or is that for the women on that one? Okay, I still got some people here. Cool. And so, kind of losing my train of thought here. All right, so here we got the women, and it's just gonna be really weird because they're probably gonna be a number two seed in their bracket. And and I don't know that I'm hearing even if they win the tournament, the tournament that they won't get the number one seed. It's Ohio State's that have. And so, but could we beat them again in the tournament and they lose the number one seed and we get it? I would love to see that, but we didn't get it last year either. Indiana got the number one seed over us. And so, but it doesn't really matter because, one, two seed, it just matters which team you play in the, in this case, it'll just matter what team you're playing in the semifinals, and the Elite Eight is basically the semifinal. No, oh, I'm sorry, the quarterfinals. The Elite Eight is the quarterfinals, and so that'll matter there who you play. But by the time you get to Elite Eight, they're all good. you don't have any weak teams. You got to be on top of your game and you got to play your best. Okay. But here's one thing about Molly. If I'm kind of focusing on Molly a little bit. Before she had no points, but before she went out in her short period of time that she played, she had 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and she forced 3 fouls. Not bad for a little workhorse. Too bad she didn't get a score in there. Um. Okay. South Bend says that. Okay, he's talking about the women. SEC probably plays a little rougher. And Calvin, I know you're on here too. He's really high on this girl named Juju who plays for USC, and we'll get to see her next year because she's going to play in the Big Ten next year with USC. And so, um, Kelvin thinks that that she could possibly pass Caitlin for the record points here. So she's definitely playing more games than Caitlin did her freshman year. I don't know what her point average is. Um, okay, so Iowa's 26-4, OSU 25-4. So if we win the Big Ten tournament, we'll be ahead of OSU in the NCAA seeding. I don't think Ohio State's lost 4 games. Are you sure you're not thinking of Indiana? Kelvin, can you double check that? I think OSU has a better record than 25-4. I think we gave them only their second loss this season. I think we've only given them the second loss. All right. So yeah. So anyway, of course, Stokey had 23 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 turnovers though, and 1 block shot, and she forced 9 fouls. So I like what she's doing. I don't like the fact that she had 5 turnovers, but I like what she's doing as far as what she's doing out there. She's getting her points. She's getting some easy lay-ins. She didn't miss nearly as many easy lay-ins as she does. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, I'll have to look that up. Hang on. Give me a minute, guys. Give me Big Ten women's current standings basketball.
Ohio State currently leads Big Ten Conference women's basketball.
Yeah. Calvin, you're right. I stand corrected. Cal, I don't even know why I ever question Calvin. Calvin has me every time. He has me every time, but Calvin keeps me honest. I'm not out there giving you guys false information because when I do, he's there to fix it for you. By the way, we're gonna do you know, uh, a spring preview show for football coming up soon. I think Calvin's gonna be a part of it. So he's keeping track of all the players for us and organizing it and everything and figuring out who's who. And so we're gonna do that. That one's coming up. I'm also gonna do a wrestling preview this week. I'm gonna see if Jared will do it with me for the Big Ten tournament because the Big Ten tournament's this weekend. So that might be the next one since women don't have any games for a week and the men are off until Sunday. So I think that's a good place to stick in a wrestling preview show. Okay. Let's see. Tell Kelvin I said thank you to his source. Yeah, his source. He's pretty good at it. He does a lot of research and he does a lot of good things. I mean, he's been a good friend to me, and he uh he keeps me on my toes. Every time he says something, I question it, and he always proves me wrong. But that's okay. I don't mind that. Okay. So anyway, we get back to basketball. Kate had 11 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. Okay. Of course, Caitlin, normal line stat for her is 35 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. She did have 5 turnovers to go with her 3 steals and she forced 4 fouls. Usually she forces more than that. Um, I think we play Friday night, South Bend. I'm almost positive we play Friday night. We play. I think we're gonna play the winner of Wisconsin and Maryland, and I don't think the game that's currently on um will affect the standings on who we play. It might, but I don't think it will. I looked at it, and both teams are pretty well have a lower record than what Wisconsin and Maryland do. So I don't think that's going to change. And so that could happen, but okay, my bad. Yeah, double by. Yeah, you said we didn't have any games until next Sunday. Oh, I said the guys didn't. I just said that the women played this weekend. So I think Wednesday I'm probably going to come on here with a wrestling preview. I'll try to get Jared on here. I'll try to get Paul on here because they're both better wrestling gurus than I am, and you guys can learn more from them about each of the players. And we'll talk about the seedings and if Iowa has a chance or not to qualify 10 wrestlers for the nationals. All right, and so then Gabby 4 for 7 on 12 points, 1 rebound, 4 3. She forced 3 fouls, guys. So this is what they've got to do. They've got to get these girls to foul them. And sometimes you just have to play a little more aggressive to do that. Okay. She had 2 assists and 2 steals. For people who are wondering why Gabby plays so much, the 2 assists and the 2 steals tell you a lot, and the forced fouls tell you a lot right there. I mean, yeah, granted she wasn't shooting the ball very well there for a while, but those numbers right there tell you right there why she's in there. She's probably our best defender out there right now. And I heard somebody say today on one of the shows or posts that they thought Sydney O'Falter was a better defender. And I'll have to watch that closely in the upcoming games because I'm sure with Molly out, we'll see more of her. Okay. Sydney had 6 points today and 7 rebounds, 2 assists, but she had 2 turnovers and did have a block though. So she was very, very busy. Very busy. Okay. And Kylie had 4 points, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 4 steals, and 1 block. So basically Kylie and Sydney did do a very good job on um on defense. That tells me right there that they were very active. Very active. All right. And then of course, you guys all know that Caitlin passed Pistol Pete. But I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it. And you notice that the team didn't make a big deal out of it either. And I think really that has a lot um to do with that fact that Pistol played a different era without a 3-point line, only played 3 seasons, although he shot the ball about 40 times a game to get to the points he was and averaged about 42 points a game or something like that. Okay. And then of course with losing 5 people on the team this year, 3 of them are starters. Um 3 of them are starters and one's a regular player. But not Sarah Goodman. She's not a regular player. I'm trying to. Who am I missing? We have 5 leave. Okay, no, I got Kate, Molly, and Caitlin as our 3 starters who are leaving. Sarah Goodman's in there. I'm missing somebody. Help me out, guys. Who did I miss that today? I watched the whole ceremony too. I should know better. Who else was missing out of that? Um. Oh, I'm sorry. It's 4 starters. Yeah, not 3. It was 4 starters. Thank you, Calvin. And I'm missing Gabby. It's Gabby. Okay. All right. So this got me to thinking because Calvin posted something. Um, Gabby is CMAC, the floor general. Honestly, I think it's more like Kate is. Maybe there's two floor generals out there, but Kate is like I think she's the super glue. I think she's the one that keeps that team going. She's the coach on the floor, I believe. She's the one that lets them know what's going on. Okay, so anyway, Kelvin was posting him. He showed a picture of three 2026 recruits that were at the game last night. But I kept thinking, okay, I want to know. We have a girl named Houston Journey coming in next year, and we still have room for four more recruits for 2025, which is next year's class. Okay, so I want to know, if there was anybody that they're working on. So here's the potential: a CD. I'm gonna say a CD deal. I don't know what position they are. When I looked her up, they didn't give me the position, and she's out of deals out of California. Where in California, Calvin? I'll bring that up because Calvin has these names right here. Okay, Emily Skinner. She's a guard. She's being pursued for the 2025 class. And Libby Handel is being pursued for the 2025 class. Um, okay. Um, so in the 2026 class, which these guys would be current sophomores right now, and so it would be Matty Greenway. You guys all know his dad, Chad Greenway, if you're a football fan of the Iowa team. She's out of Minnesota. Addison Bourne. I just want to say it's Bourne. I'm going to say the J silent. She's a wing player. She's in the 2026 class, and according to Calvin here, she's eighth ranked overall. And Greenway is number 17. And then Lewis. I don't have her first name, and I don't even know her position. Um, but she's number 24 in his rankings. Okay. Yeah. So Bourne and Lewis were there today, and so was Greenway apparently. That's all you got up there, huh? All right. Okay. And then there's they had a 2028 person, which honestly would be an eighth grader. Yeah, eighth grader. Hey, I've got two granddaughters in eighth grade right now, and one in ninth. They could be getting recruited. Okay. Okay. So Lewis's name is Jenica. Jenicky. Jenica. And must be some kind of a wing. I don't understand what the S is. Short wing or something. All right. Um, so I think that kind of looks exciting myself. The potential, like I know Calvin's excited. I've seen his post. He's very excited for what we have coming in next year and what the potential for the following years. Because what we got coming in this, their current seniors, they'll be in for the fall next year, and there's a couple of point guards in that class, but I didn't realize that we actually had a true point guard and a freshman this year. But she was always one of the last ones off the bench, so I don't know if she's going to get a serious look for point guard next year. But we're in dire need of point guards after we lose two of our top point guards this year. We lose, Caitlin and Molly. They switched duties at point guard. They switched it back and forth, and then the other one would drop to an off guard position. Okay, swing. Oh, okay, okay. She's a swing person, much like a falter. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can see that. I can see that. And the thing is this Callie Levine that just won the state basketball tournament, who's coming next year. To me, I couldn't tell for sure, but it looked to me like she was running the point guard out of the point guard position for her team. But when they introduced four of them guards. It's like they run a four guard offense, and she's actually the biggest person on the team. At least that looked like to me, like she was the biggest person on the team. And so, but she showed me some Caitlyn-esque things. She's not as good as Caitlyn, obviously, but she showed me, she showed me she could hit the 3-pointer. She can drive and pop and move to her left and pop it, and she can drive to the hoop and lay it in. All in all, I think she had 20 something, 26 or 27 points in her state championship game yesterday. So she did really well. She did really well. I don't know how the other girls are doing. I think 2 of them are in Wisconsin, and I don't know where the other one's at. Out of the there's 5 of them coming in, so I'm kinda I don't remember. 2 are in Wisconsin, 1's in the state of Iowa, and I don't know where the other 2 are currently. But yeah, even with them coming, their freshman year or the years that they're sophomores, we got room for 5 more recruits. Journey Houston's got one of those spots. She's already committed, so she'll take that spot and make it down to 4. Um, and so, like I said, Iowa plays the winner of game number 5 if it changes at 5:30 Central Time this Friday night. They take on the winner of the number 7, number 10 game, which when I went and looked at the current standings, that was Maryland and Wisconsin in those spots. Oh yeah, yeah. Guyton and Hayden. Um, I believe Hayden is out of Washington. Hayden, I mean, is out of Washington, and Guyton's out of Peoria. So yeah, there's some talent coming next year. I don't know if they're going to be, you know, make a solid run next year like this team did the last 2 years, but they could make a similar run uh like um like they did Caitlin's freshman year. And remember, that was the year I think we got upset and didn't make it to the or was that her sophomore year? Was that the sophomore year we got upset by Creighton and didn't make it to the Sweet 16? That could be. That could be. Um okay, yeah, because I believe we made it to the Sweet 16 Caitlin's freshman year. And then her sophomore year, we didn't make it out of the second round because we had a former Hawkeye just go off on us playing for Creighton, and she went off on us. And she left because she didn't want to play behind Caitlin, and she obviously made the right choice when she left. But yeah, she helped upset Iowa that day. Okay, alrighty. So, so anyway, that's about where I'm at right now, guys. If there's anything else you want to talk about, now's the good time to put some questions out there. Um, Otherwise, this is a short, very short podcast again. The podcast we usually go an hour, and sometimes I feel an hour's not long enough, guys. I want to get out of the way here. I want to show you guys something setting up back here behind me. Um, get this chair out of the way. So as you guys can see, I've got my Caitlin poster back here. It's 8x10. I got my box of cereal. I want to thank one of our listeners who offered to get it for me, and they got it for me. Okay. This is my grandson playing football in Hawkeye helmet and Hawkeye gear. So thought I'd show you that, guys. I don't know if you can see this up here. This is another Caitlin poster. My wife got that for my birthday last year. And so once I get this office a little more clean and a little more organized, I will show you guys more of it. There's a Hawkeye all the way around it, but right now it's kind of a mess that you guys don't see. So that we will hold off on. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, something. I'm not putting that one up, right? Okay. So I guess we'll just. Oh yeah, let's talk about this letter. Okay. I thought this was an interesting letter I thought we had. And let's see. I couldn't read it myself, and Calvin can type if you want to, Calvin, you can type out some of right here what was in that letter. I know that was a lot of typing for you, but I can go back and read what you sent me if you want me to. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, I kind of misunderstood something he wrote in here, but he said, Calvin, I'll go ahead and read what you sent me so that the people can understand this letter. It was on three website, which is become a reputable website to go for Hawkeye stuff. I had paid for it in subscription, but I let it run out, and so I no longer could do it. So he was good enough to send me what it was written. But the Swarm wanted to thank his contributors. They paid for all the returning defensive guys that we wanted except for Cooper. They couldn't afford the late round. It says we couldn't afford the late first round money. Yeah, I think it's like about $7 million from what I heard. Okay. So yeah, nobody's gonna get that kind of money, no matter who they are. I think Calvin's got this right here. Okay. All right. You signed the whole defense except Gene couldn't pay $6 million. Yeah. Okay. A contributor donated $125,000 to the men's basketball, but to make a dent at all, Fran needs $1 million for new recruits, or a transfer. I'm assuming he means a transfer portal, and Perkins and Peyton try to keep them. Guys, I don't think Peyton's leaving after this year. I know that that he's on a mock draft boards, but I think he will announce. I think he will announce that he will um go and like much like the Murray brothers did and Garza did his junior year. They're gonna go test the waters. He's gonna go test the waters, but I believe he'll be back in uniform next year. I really do. He'll be in a Hawkeye uniform next year, and I firmly believe that. Although his game, if he hits those threes consistently, translates to the new NBA these days. Okay. But yeah, see, and this is what I just said. He's going to test the waters, but won't hire an agent. They can hire an agent now, South Bend. Did you know that? That's part of the NI deal. Um, okay. He said that he spent the weekend at Kirk's as Kirk's guest in his home. This is what I found really interesting, guys. This part really intrigued me. Kirk was busy studying and showing Brad his new Tim Lester playbook. Kirk is so excited and happy with Tim. And he goes, I also forward you the okay. He also sent me a video that I think I shared with you guys in the past. It's the same video I showed you guys earlier about the RPO that he likes to run it. He's teaching other coaches how to run how he does it. And honestly, when you look at it, it looks like, dang, this is something different we haven't run before. Maybe we're gonna run it. And so, okay. All right. eh. In 1 year, his team averaged 52 points a game. That's a lot of points. And had the number two rated QB in the nation and two 1,000 receivers and very few interceptions. The whole thing about the receivers is we don't have a real receiver coach coaching our receivers. So I'll be curious. I'm going to give Bud Meyer his due and let him try this out. But I hope that our guys will. Gotta get. Oh, this is funny. This is funny because Kirk said in an interview one day after a big win, did they go out and celebrate? And he said no, he had leftover pizza that Mary fed him, and so that he's wanting to know if Mary fed him leftover pizza when he stayed the night over his house. I'm gonna guess not. Okay. All right. On and then like he said, on three is the place to go. They have a lot of recruiting stuff, a lot of good stuff over there. And like I said, I used to pay for it. And then there's 247. Um, there's 247 that you can go to too. That's also a pay for site. They do some stuff for free. And but I think it's also 247 with a sub name of Hawkeye Insider. Yeah, that's what I find. Every time I click it on, it comes up Hawkeye Insider. Okay, and so I misunderstood and thought he was talking about that if we had the $7 million, we could have got um Eugene to come back, but no kid's gonna get that. And that's yeah, no kid's gonna get that. Yeah. So that's about it. I kind of highlighted and read what Calvin sent me about the swarm. Um was that a mistype though when you said average 52 points? It was 42 points. Okay. Because it does say 52 here. All right. Alrighty, guys. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Like I said, Wednesday I'm gonna definitely do the preview, Big Ten wrestling previews for those that want to see it. Like I said, I'm gonna try to see if I can get both Jared and Paul on here because I think their knowledge is so far much superior than mine in that area. I like wrestling. I like watching it. I was a wrestler at one time, only in middle school, and so things have changed a lot since then. So anyhow, yeah, I'm gonna try to get those guys on here to kind of help you guys understand what we're looking at. So I'm just gonna get out of here. This podcast has gone about 46, 47 minutes, and that's actually longer than I actually thought we would. I want to thank you guys who took the time to comment. I want to thank the others that took the time to watch but didn't comment. Please comment next time. We'd appreciate it. But you do have to sign up for a YouTube account in order to comment, and that may be why some of you didn't comment tonight. But sign up for a YouTube account. You don't have to do anything with it. It just allows you to comment and like and share the videos that are on here. And then yeah. And so we're going to get out of here, guys. I'm gonna leave you, and I just want you to make sure too that you always like, subscribe, subscribe in that order. Subscribe, like. Feel free to comment. I'll come back and catch your comments later. And share this. Share this with your Hawkeye friends. You can share it with your Huskers and your Cyclone friends too. I do. I do. They get a kick out of it. And so, anyway, I'll let you guys go, and thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys Wednesday night. Okay? Bye.